A spokesperson says Broadview police have had to rely on help from neighboring departments. September 19th, the Homeland Security spokesperson said in a statement, in part, rioters assaulted law enforcement. Police under J.B. Pritzker's sanctuary jurisdiction refused to answer multiple calls for assistance.
The indictment states Valdez sent thousands of dollars in Zelle transfers to Rodriguez in return for purchasing the guns on Valdez's behalf. 2 months after the transactions, Valdez is accused of smuggling the guns into Mexico.
What's going on, people? It's your boy, Clayton Arzino, back with another video. On today, we're going to be talking about these 3 major topics coming out of the city, the hellhole known as Chicago, right? First, this wild-ass news coming out of the city with these officers involved in gun smuggling. Secondly, these reports of these 12 robberies since the beginning of August in these high-end luxury stores. And the last one, police resources are allegedly stretched thin during this Operation Midway Blitz. And no, I am not talking about the N64 video game, right? So let's get to it.
The indictment named Chicago police officer Kevin Rodriguez and an accomplice, Diego Valdez, charging the duo for conspiring to unlawfully purchase firearms that were ultimately smuggled into Mexico. A 9-page federal indictment unsealed Tuesday in federal court accuses Kevin Rodriguez of using his position as a Chicago police officer to purchase an AR-15 style assault rifle in Dyer, Indiana, and a handgun in Monee. Prosecutors allege Rodriguez lied on federal paperwork, saying he was the actual buyer of the firearms, all in an effort to purchase guns which are not available to ordinary citizens under Illinois law. Instead, prosecutors say Rodriguez purchased them for Diego Valdez, an accomplice who allegedly identified the weapons he wanted and then paid Rodriguez to purchase them.
There's a reason why these guns are limited in circulation or for sale. There's a reason why a Chicago police officer can use his status only for appropriate purposes. He's abusing that here.
The indictment states Valdez sent thousands of dollars in Zelle transfers to Rodriguez in return for purchasing the guns on Valdez's behalf. 2 months after the transactions, Valdez is accused of smuggling the guns into Mexico. Meanwhile, a search of Rodriguez's record as a Chicago cop shows he's been the subject of at least 9 misconduct complaints since joining the force in 2019, according to the Office of the Inspector General. One of those complaints stemming from improper pursuit of a suspect in 2022, resulting in a 4-day suspension.
We're seeing, again, if true, a conduct that's more serious than anything I'm sure he's been accused of before.
In response to his indictment, Chicago police say Rodriguez was immediately placed on no-pay status, but that his police powers were suspended on July 3rd.
First off, let's start off with the indictments, right? The Chicago police officers, the ones who are sworn to uphold the law, these people caught up in smuggling and buying guns, that shit is crazy. Now, as a black man, I've always been told stories about the police, right? About how you maybe should not trust the police as much. And hearing stuff like this actually kind of makes it sound justified. Honestly, it does. But here's the thing. Corruption is real, right? And anytime it's exposed, you need to be held to the highest standard. You need to be held accountable, conservative or not. Law and order starts with accountability. You can't be out here preaching safety and you moving dirty as hell behind closed doors, man. Can't do that. Next story.
Well, it's certainly an alarming trend as Chicago police reports at least 12 robberies happening since August 1st, all of them on some of the busiest streets here in downtown. Just this week, one of those incidents happened here near Michigan and Wacker in broad daylight, and we know there's often many people walking around this area. Now, Chicago police say in each of these incidents, a group of offenders targets a person who is alone while using physical force to take gold chains or other personal belongings of the victims. You can see where all of these robberies have been reported for nearly the last 2 months, many of them happening near public areas like Grant Park and all around the Loop. Now, I talked to a woman who works near Michigan and Wacker, and she says she just witnessed a woman get robbed here last week.
He's just snatched her purse and ran across the bridge. She just started screaming, and PD came and they just kept going.
It's kind of alarming because I feel like Chicago already has a stereotype about the crime, but as you look around, it's a lot of beauty too. So I think that they should hop on it so that stigma does not grow.
Now, Chicago police say it's critical to always be aware of your surroundings, better to walk in crowds, and never chase after an offender if you find yourself in one of these robbery situations. As of now, police say no one has been arrested in connection to these incidents. From downtown, Mayor Kawash, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, on top of all that, right, you got these stories coming out about these 12 robberies since the beginning of August. And all this tells me two things. One, crime is extremely out of control, Mayor Brandon Johnson. And two, people are extremely desperate nowadays. It is scary. But here's where I stand with all of this, right? Crime doesn't solve anything. It actually creates more desperation, more dysfunction amongst the families in which they're affected, right? The people committing the crimes and the people who are getting the crimes committed against. Now, I know some people out there are going to try to excuse it, but me, at 30, being married, I see this for what it is, man. Long-term damage to the damn community. Every robbery, every crime committed, it just makes other businesses and other communities really scared and afraid to trust us, man. On to the next topic.
The Broadview Police Department tells the I-Team the immigration roundup known as Operation Midway Blitz is straining the suburban police department's villages and their resources that are already slim. Tonight, a village spokesperson says Broadview is in talks with Governor Pritzker's office about getting backup.
Hi, this is Officer Riley with Immigration over at Broadview.
June 6, protesters filled the street outside the suburban immigration facility demanding the release of a woman rounded up in a raid on South Michigan Avenue.
We have a large gathering of protesters outside. We're requesting assistance from Broadview PD, please, just to control the crowd outside.
Oh, boy. All right, I'll let them know.
That's just one of numerous calls from federal immigration agents to Broadview Police over the last few months calling for backup.
We got guys bashing their heads in here.
The I-Team obtained a number of those recorded calls through a Freedom of Information Act request. A little more than a week later,
we've got some people that are trying to force their way into our security gate where our vehicles are parked.
All right, I'll get the officers up there.
That was all before federal agents descended en masse on the Chicago area in early September. The so-called Operation Midway Blitz, Broadview says, has all but maxed out their police force.
It pretty much takes 75% of my manpower to ensure an orderly demonstration.
A spokesperson says Broadview police have had to rely on help from neighboring departments. September 19th, the Homeland Security spokesperson said in a statement, in part, rioters assaulted law enforcement. Police under J.B. Pritzker's sanctuary jurisdiction refused to answer multiple calls for assistance.
I'm disappointed that they would say that because that is not true.
But with little relief, the village is now pleading for state help.
Within the last 3 weeks, things have really increased. So now we are reaching out more requests for resources. It's just now where the ask is becoming greater.
And then we got Operation Midway Blitz, where police are constantly straining their resources just to try and make this come together. And from a conservative lens, right, we can't just tax more, spend more, and expect the problem to just magically disappear, right? We need accountability, better management, and a better strategy, and not just some lame-ass political talking points. Mayor Brandon Johnson. So to sum all of this up, right, you got cops getting indicted about smuggling and buying guns, over 10 plus robberies, and growing every day since the beginning of August, these high-end areas. And then you got police out here straining resources to try and make this full Operation Midway Blitz thing come to pass, right? And this is Chicago. As a black conservative, right, I can admit, yes, the system is failing. Yes, corruption is very, very much real. But at the same time, at some point, some personal responsibility from the leaders and the people up top has to come into play. We can't just point fingers forever. We got to actually work on something and build a plan and get a solution that actually is going to work. In closing, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is a failure on the part of the police, the city, Or is this somehow the community's responsibility, right? And who do you guys think is the one to actually get all of this back in order for the city, right? Mayor Brandon Johnson. But until next time, y'all, we are back with the content, baby. Let's keep it moving. Peace.